Hello, welcome to our Dream to Rise podcast. And we have a special guest here. This is actually the episode 5 of my season 2. And I'm so fortunate to have with me a special guest who is the founder and CEO of 2 companies, Bill's Best Pancakes, healthy gourmet pancake mix that tastes great. We will see if it really tastes great. And then he was also the Avalanche Recovery Center in Calgary, Alberta, known as the ARC, focusing on the solutions and going beyond the addiction. But you know what? I don't want to add further information because I am truly excited to just listen to Lee, to our guest speaker, who is actually Mr. Lee Krywko. Welcome, Lee.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see
I,
you, Cynthia.
yes, same here. I'm so honored to have you here. And it's always great to have special guests joining
Honored to
my
be
podcast.
here. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Yes.
It's always a pleasure. By the way, so I told them that you will be sharing your some of your story, no?
Okay.
Because I didn't give so much details in terms of the introduction. So let's start. Agree. Everything is fine with you?
Everything is fine. Everything is good.
Okay.
Life is
Okay.
really about transformation.
That's
Truly.
great. That's great. So now let's start. Can you tell us something about yourself, your life story, your journey
Sure.
to where you are right now?
Yeah, you bet. You know what? Obviously, at my age, the life story gets pretty long. So I'm just going to kind of wrap it up real quick for you guys and just kind of give you the overview. I think to take a snapshot or a slice uh, of this life we've lived, explored, and what we've done. It comes to really like high points and low points. And you can have so many years of maybe having so many high points and great things going on, but when you start having so many years of low points going on, it's really extra taxing, and it can take you into places that you don't expect or want to go. Um, I was pretty young. I was wanting to be very independent at a very young age. Um, I explored unhealthy activities in order to seek acceptance and success and different whatever lives and opportunity through using drugs and alcohol. And like even at the age of like 12 years old, I was hitchhiking into a different city to pick up drugs to bring back. Like I just still can't believe that I'd done that, because I look at 12-year-olds today going, I couldn't see a single one of them actually doing that. So it's not like I came from a bad home. I come from an excellent home. I just I just wanted out. I wanted on my own.
You just
And
want to experience life.
yeah, yeah. So small town, not much to do. There was really nothing for kids. It was kind of a crazy time. There was a few years where the mayor claimed no 3 kids could hang out together or you're breaking the law. And it actually a bylaw would pick you up, take you home, or give you a ticket. Um, the schools had a restricted system, so you could be passing everything, but if you ended up on the restricted list because they thought you could try harder, then you couldn't play in team sports, school activities, dances, nothing. So you know what, growing up in the teenage years of this small town where there's really nothing for kids, what else are you going to do?
So what made you go into that path?
I shouldn't say
Influence
that,
you?
because I kind of like, that sounds like a justification. You know what, I'm not about justification. I'm about accountability, owning what it is. The choices that you make
Mhm.
are the results that you're going to get.
Yeah.
So why do we make choices? What I've discovered through, I've been through treatment centers and counseling and psychologists, like so much over the course of 34 years. And then I've gone to school myself and developed myself into like a professional interventionist and a recovery coach. Um, I trained out of Miami. You know what? It's kind of like it's come full circle from, instead of justifying, it's more of accountability.
Mhm.
And even through the accountability, to those who have hurt me the most, I had to learn to forgive them in order for me to carry on with my life,
Mhm.
right?
Wow,
But
I love
why
that.
was I with those people in the first place?
Mhm.
Where was my head at? What were my choices? Like, what can I own about that deal? Even though, yeah, they were like, I mean, from the outside, yeah, that's obviously the devil or whatever you want to call that person. I mean, evil. Like, who could do stuff like that? But they did. Yes, I was hurt. And you know what? Um, you know, I was like left, I've been like left for dead. I've been financially robbed, I mean, by hundreds of thousands of dollars, and lose a franchise opportunity.
Oh my.
I have had my kids abducted and disappear for years, years at a time. Like, these are horrific things to have happen to you. I have to say, too, life can happen. A lot of trauma and bad things that take place in my life, our lives, whoever's, if you're in active addiction or you're have experienced it, I'm sure that you can relate. A lot of the life trauma also comes from living that sad cycle. My sad cycle eventually led me to thoughts of suicide. Depression was building, it was growing. And you know what, within about 2 years and having a whole series of things happen to me of just life, you know, from loss of employment, uh, toxic relationship that, you know, was going in the wrong direction for too long. And then my son dying, it just had a compounding effect. And I pulled it together for the next month. But you know what? Those fleeting thoughts of suicide that were quickly dismissed started to stick. That quickly progressed into, you know, that's actually not a bad idea. And then turned into creating a plan that really began to stuck. And I'm telling you, like, this progression towards the tailing end really took hold within 3 months. Justified, 100% good to go, had the plan, how the, you know, professionals were going to find me so that way the public doesn't. I was going to leave the site nice and clean, you know, by laying out whatever. I'm not going to get into the details. I don't like to share that. But on my way there, I ran into a group of friends. They all went ahead into a pub, and I was just looking at the traffic lights going in the parking lot, the cars in the night, and the ground was wet, but the air was dry. It was just like, you know what? I'm good with this. And as I started to walk away, all of a sudden a car pulled right up and yelled out, "Lee." And you know what? It was my family. They came in from another city. If they were to drive directly there, it would take them at least 45 minutes. So I don't know, call it the grace of God, a higher power. I don't, doesn't matter to me. Your creator, there is something more out there. I've had my life say, I just use the word God. It's one syllable. It covers all the ground. It's nothing religious. It's everything spiritual. It's everything outside of my power. It's everything that this universe is. The creator of the universe, whatever you might want to call it. It's your word. I
It's
just
God.
use that.
I think it's God's work. It's God's miracle that He saved you.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
really do. And I mean, like, why not give him credit? And since we're all like, some of us talk about higher power and they can't get over this whole God concept. Well, there's no difference. I mean, the higher power that is creating and the universe and everything that it is, well, that's godlike. So why not just say God? But you know, the reality is that a lot of people are hung up on religion. They associate that with, you know, maybe it's their over the board parents or the aunts and uncles that, or whatever, they maybe they just had a bad experience in church. maybe they didn't like going. But you know what? There's all types of religions, cults, groups, whatever it is. I mean, it's not for everybody. Obviously, everybody finds their own way. I just believe that it's all just different ways for people to connect with ultimately God. And
Probably you had this personal relationship or connection with God. That's why you were able to get that message, or you were able to.
yeah, like, and for them too, like, I mean, it was just like, that is like the odds of pulling up to, seriously, I was like about 150 feet away for me to actually literally walk around the corner. That would be about 50 steps. I'd be around the corner of a building, into the darkness, into the forest, and you would never see me again.
Oh my.
So and it wasn't easy. They actually went through an awful lot to talk to me, to get me into the vehicle, for me to let them take me to a hospital. Like, it was quite a process. I did not want to live. I did not want to be saved. I did not. And but you know what? I did. And obviously I was under the influence of alcohol. I don't normally smoke any drugs. I used to heavily. I did everything under the sun heavily, you know, but you know what? I don't know. I guess I thought, okay, I don't know how I'm going to do this, you know, so, okay, I'll reach out for some help. And you know what? Because I wanted something different than a traditional system. I wanted something holistic. What I was looking for was the ARC. That's the Avalanche Recovery Center. So you call it the ARC. It's actually called the ARC. Hop aboard the ARC. You get to go where you want to go. That's what I was looking for. Because when I was talking to the counselors and whatnot in a detox center, they just basically said, you know what? No, it doesn't exist. If you don't go to the traditional system or whatever, you're just going to die. And it's like, oh, okay. That's not the help I would expect from a professional. They didn't have any outside solutions except for treatment centers, or like a 12-step program, you know, go to a group with other people. No, I just wanted one-on-one. I wanted to go beyond the addiction. I wanted to actually get to the root. Everybody, all these professionals are like, oh, it's the trauma. Those are your, it's not. They want to stir this all up, bring this all out of you. Sure, sometimes that can help, but where is the direction?
Yeah.
Because in my experience, we go to where we want to go and not where we're hoping to go. So if your focus, have you ever ridden a bicycle?
Yes.
And you get too close to that curb and you're like looking at that curb, but it's like a magnet. You can't seem to pull off of it.
Mm-hmm.
You ever experience that?
Yes.
Or too close to a wall? Same thing. It's like, oh, if my handlebar touches that, like, I'm going to wipe right out. Exactly. And it's like a magnet. Mm-hmm. It's because we're focused on the danger. We're focused on that wall. So if we do that with our addiction or with our life, that is where we go. Look for the clearing. That's actually how NASCAR drivers are trained, is to look for the open road, look for the opening. Don't focus on the danger that you're about to hit the wall. You look at that, you're going to hit the wall.
Actually, that's the I don't know how in terms of therapy, I think they usually focus on the past, and then for you to avoid the future, but then they're not focusing on what is the present. What can they do to avoid that danger in the future? So I don't know what is really expected in those therapy and those.
You know, that's a very good point, because, like, okay, so what's being talked about, right? Where, okay, it's about your childhood or your previous years. Everything is about the past. Well, if you keep looking back, that's where your focus is. So therefore, you're going to get the same result, which is why their success rate is 4 to 6%. So, like, we have the same, like 4 to 6 is traditional treatment.
4 to 6, wow.
It's horrible. It's horribly bad. Companies like mine have been popping up all over the world, from Portugal to the middle of the USA. mine here in Canada. And you know what? We're all achieving the high 70% range, all of us, because we're going beyond the addiction and we're looking towards the future. We're working with today so that you live in today. You're planting seeds for tomorrow, but you have a vision. You have a purpose greater than yourself. You've got a newfound identity, the true identity, who you really are, not the guilt and the shame that everything that followed you along.
Yes.
Or what you were programmed to be. And your brain, by the way, neuroscience has taught us over the last 20 years, your brain's like plastic. It can be reshaped and programmed. Your whole thought process, your belief system. Usually what's holding us back is our thoughts, how we talk to ourselves, who we hang with. You are, like everybody can relate, you are what you eat. Well, you are who you hang out with. You're what you watch on TV, YouTube, what books you read. You know, so if you're always reading fantasy books and I don't know, reality TV that is not real, and you're hanging out with a bunch of people who just want to go either to the bar or drink in the backyard or the garage. And if everybody smokes cigarettes, then you're smoking cigarettes too. But the reality is you're a product of your environment.
Yeah. That's why it's so important to be surrounded by people who would lift you up, who believes in you, and who are aligned to your values, to your dream. And if they are, well, that we call them others as toxic. If you are with a toxic environment and people, then you won't be able to live what you want to live, live the life you want to live. You'll be dragged down instead of you moving fast forward.
Yeah, I think we can experience that elevation or that suppression.
Yes.
From those are around us. And
yes.
So
and then yeah, again, it's your choice.
It is.
Yes.
You know, really ultimately in my experience, I had to focus in on myself, make changes within me before I could get anything different from out there. Right. I mean, it starts here. It's up here. I mean, it's in your gut. It's a super highway between the brain and your gut. Get things in line, get moving, get action, like get those new habits and new juices, start reading books that actually positively improve your life. Do, 10 to 30 minutes in the first thing in the morning, do it again at night. Find time, to do, like, you don't have to work out for like an hour or 2 hours a day, but I mean, like, even start with like 10 minutes. That could be a lot for somebody.
Even walking.
Maybe do 5 minutes, even walk around the block. Eventually expand it to 2 blocks. Maybe start taking wider strides, wider steps, faster paces. And all of a sudden moving your arms more and more. Like next thing you know, you're literally going around blocks in the same amount of time as it take you to do the first block.
Having this growth mindset, it takes time, just like building your muscles, but you have to take that uncomfortable action.
Right.
Because no matter how many self-development books you read, how many podcasts you listen to, if you don't apply what you've learned, it's useless.
Yeah, knowledge, I mean, great to have, but if you're not using the practice, like if you can't employ it, what's the point of it? I mean, I know I can grab a dictionary, look up a word, a thesaurus, change those words. I can find an encyclopedia and expand those into, what those concepts or whatever. I could just ask Google, talk to Siri.
Yes, that's the fun part now. The easy part here is everything is at at our fingertips now. All the
so in my journey, like, it was after those counselors that had actually put their noses up in the air and then didn't want to talk to me or deal with me. I remember looking at it was like above the door, which is just a basic, like the bulkhead. It's just painted, empty space. And I just stood there and it was like a calling, like a real calling, that I knew what to do because I have done so much prior, like for and against myself, countless times. I had a total transformation in 1997 that a lot of the foundations that I had learned and employed into my daily living brought me from being in debt to #1 in North America as a public relations director and awarded a franchise.
Oh.
So I had hundreds of thousands of dollars saved up. It doesn't matter that somebody literally actually tried to kill me with hiring my life insurance and then stole all that money.
Oh my.
And then eventually abducted my kids. Yeah. But you know what? I have to take accountability. I let somebody else destroy me, and I ended up, well,
You trusted that person.
Financially, it can happen. So I ended up homeless.
So
But you know what?
You trusted that person so much?
She would, yeah. She was my supposed to be my life partner, mother of my children. She's the one who actually took the kids. Parental abduction is more serious than a stranger abducting your kids, by the way. I had to go to the police twice. The sergeant gave me an apology. Then he put out an alert. It's just like, yeah, honestly, like there is all this talk of inequality and women's rights, but you know what? If you're if you're a man over the age of 25, nobody really cares about you. You are subject just to the system to get sloughed. You know what? Get blamed. You wouldn't believe how many times I've been charged with things I haven't even done, but because I'm that guy and I've got that record, I've got the history. It's easy. It's like, yep, perfect. Scapegoat, right? Like there just isn't any safety nets. Okay. Either go to jail, go to a treatment center. That doesn't work. Like it's like, it's terrible. So we have to find our own reasons. We got to actually reach out, listen to people who are actually making a difference in their lives. So something interesting happened to me.
So when was the time wherein you told yourself that I had to take this action, this uncomfortable action to switch, and then that enough is enough?
So the calling I had was, okay, I need a safe place to sit down, to just work on what I know needs to be done, but I need to document it. I need to actually work it out. I need to create what this program is. I know what it is, and then look for the pitfalls, look for the bridging. Like I'm going to study the crap out of. So I went to a private, a higher end place. Basically, their treatment center starts from $11,000 to $30,000 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, the only difference is for the higher the volume is, you could have some hot tub time and cell phone and access to a computer. But otherwise, it's the same program.
Oh my.
Same food. Okay. Your money buys you luxuries. Okay. Comforts, communication.
Yeah.
Anyways,
were you able to avail those things?
Well, honestly, I was so disgusted with this place. It is so archaic. But you know what? For a treatment center, they really didn't work you very hard at all. So I had tons of downtime. And you know what? It gave me the ability to just write out everything. It was my second weekend. I created the name. I was just thinking, instead of calling it like recovery center or addiction or anything like that, which nobody should identify themselves as an addict or an alcoholic. Nobody comes over to the cancer clinic saying, I'm cancerous, I've got cancer. No, your attitude and everything is so dependent upon your beating that, going into remission. Like same thing with, you had an addictive cycle. That's your history. That's what you went through. Doesn't mean that's who you are. You would never associate yourself as alcoholic or addict. Somebody wants to label you like that. Don't let them make you label yourself like that. That is very wrong. And you know what? Addiction, I should say recovery is a multi-billion-dollar industry. yeah, addiction cycles and all that sort of stuff, and drugs cost hundreds of billions. Yeah, it's sad. A lot of lives are lost. But recovery is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And a lot of people aren't talking about that, because to have the same result as they had in 1985 or 86, 4 to 6%, that's still the way it's today. Come on.
Yeah.
I created something getting higher than 70%, and so are the other organizations around this world. An entire country like Portugal changes how they deal with social issues, drugs, alcohol, addiction. They transform in the year 2000. Within the first 5 years, they took a new vote, because after a year or two of implementation, crime was down by 80%.
Wow.
Violence, domestic abuse down by like 75-80%. It was just like everything was down. Drunk intoxications, people going into the drunk tank, into jails and system. They put the money they saved from prosecuting everyone into community resources. So what they did is they created an environment.
That's nice.
So if you're unemployed, the government would say, apply to where you want to go or go to school. But let's say a mechanic out of work, lost his job. Maybe it was because he partied too much and too many drugs, or whatever the reason. He needs a job, but he loves mechanics and he loves hot rods. But the best shop is on the other side of town in a good neighborhood, and they really work on some beautiful exotic hot rods, whatever. Well, he applies there, and the government says, I'm going to pay half his wages for the first year to make sure he works out. So now that shop is motivated to give this guy a chance. Now that he's got the job of a dream, a lifetime, he works, he shows up, he doesn't miss, he's on point. And you know what? After a year, the company has happily given him his full wage with a raise and everything else like that. And that is countless stories that took place in this country. They made the transformation in 2000. Now it's 2023. Still the same way. Portugal went from being the worst country to one of the best countries.
It is because the government was there to support.
Government took accountability.
Yes.
Here, they're creating safe houses for people to use drugs, and actually people overdose there all the time. They don't really talk about that, but what they want to do is keep them where they know they have them. But what I don't like is that there's always a circle of people around. There's hardcore people. They're homeless. They go in packs or whatever they want to do. Live in a shopping cart and a cardboard box. That's up to you. But why would you go get a job? Why would you go and do anything when the people around that, because they're experimenting with the drugs and the lifestyle, and they're, just trying to maybe be defiant or piss their parents off, or they don't know, but for whatever reason, they're around these people. Well, those people, I call them borderline people. They could either fall into the trap, or they could go out and explore and just flourish. Well, when they see that the government is giving you drugs in a safe place, and you get free food, and you can dress and do anything you want whenever you like, and it's so easy, where's the motivation to actually go out and get a life? Exactly. So it's actually attracting more people into this cesspool. And you know what? I know California's got the same problem, like Vancouver in Canada, Kelowna. There's districts that are called Tent City.
Oh my.
There's tents set up on sidewalks in front of businesses. This issue is so out of control. Why does the government not do what Portugal did?
Actually, when I went to the Philippines, I also did this feed the homeless people there.
Yeah.
And I was telling myself, I was talking to someone, you know what? It's not about just providing food to all of them, but helping them or coach them to keep them motivated that, hey, you're still strong. You're given that you're still young, you can still do something else, and then improve your life, and especially your family. So what I think your ARC, you were able
Work.
to help your what's this your clients in terms of how to get motivated on their own. Well, regardless of whatever the government will be doing, it's them. It's about them that they will have that initiative, be more proactive in terms of, hey, I want to do this. I want to help and support my family. I want to change my life and move forward. So that's the thing. It's just a matter of you helping the people, those who were in that bad situation, to choose the light. But was it hard to help them choose the light?
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, the reality is by the time you get down to the point where you're homeless and you're fully dependent on the system of, like, soup kitchens and shelters, and, well, you're living comfortable on the streets. You're living comfortable. I mean, seriously, it's a lifestyle and it's a life choice.
Because you're being
Sometimes,
dependent now on what is being
so,
provided.
so sometimes very few percentage of people will do like what I did and say, you know what, I've had enough of this, but I'm good enough. And I know more today than I've ever known in my life, because I know more of what I don't want and I know what I do know. And I've had great success before, and started to look back at all the successes instead of the failures and the hurt and the blame and the, pointing the fingers, and got over it. I gave forgiveness.
Yeah.
And I forgave myself for allowing myself to be here for as long as I was. Okay. And then, you know what? I made life choices and got myself off the street. That was hard, and the perseverance. And when I was actually taking the action and the momentum was building, it's funny how all of a sudden life and people just suddenly show up to give you that one last hand up, to really get that you might got 1 foot out of the street, but the other one's still back there. And to get it takes everything you got, everything.
Yes. Yes.
So, I love what the ARC does. And you know what, it's done something for me too. It transformed me once again where I didn't even expect it.
What was that transformation?
Well, yeah, so another transformation really took place, and it was actually helping another family member. I could see him helping my aunt through her last couple of years, but in the last 6 months, I could see the end of her life as like, it's right there. It's within months for sure. She managed to go. So I really started to try and study her life partner of 40 plus years. His name's Bill. Because I thought, what's he going to do when she's gone? He lost his job the day she got diagnosed with bone cancer. Like, how sad is that household? I mean, that's devastating twice over. They pulled through. Those two, they had laughs for all those couple of years. He turned into a full-time caregiver, became a self-made nutritionist, where the doctors actually complimented him. Like, how come she's doing so much better? What is she eating? How is she eating? What's her diet? And he would explain what he's doing, like from grinding seeds to like, they're like, wow, it's working. Keep doing what you're doing. Anyways, in the last few months of her life, we're all sitting around the table, and it hit me. I got it, because I was trying to discover a purpose for the guy. And it was pancakes, but not just any pancakes. They got to be healthy and they got to taste good. And I'm thinking like hemp hearts and flaxseed. Well, it was a big joke. I soon left. My aunt was laughing, my mom's laughing, Bill's laughing. So I went back. I'm like, I got to run back to my office. I'll be back. And I come back with this prototype. And this prototype was Bill's best with a picture on a stack of pancakes. And I created this label just
Uh-huh.
quickly. It was pretty rudimentary, but it looked good. It's actually still hanging up.
Uh-huh.
And I put it in a plastic sleeve and I said, I'm serious. Like, look, Bill's best. And then with flax and hemp and this and that. So it took about 2 weeks before he's like, you really think? And I'm like, I promise. How many times do I got to repeat myself, right? Yeah, I believe. I know. Like, I'm just showing you. And I'll help see it through. I will. I'm excited for this guy to have a purpose so much that I gave him half the company.
Oh, wow. You're an
Yeah.
angel. You're an
Yeah.
angel.
But you know what? He really did. He did a great job with my aunt as a human being to another human being. There's a guy worth helping. You know what? It didn't come from addiction, but I didn't want to see my aunt pass on and him not have a purpose. And maybe he just ends up falling into a
The
big
streets.
bottle of vodka or a case of beer every night. And you know what? How often when the person loses their life partner, the other person, they don't last more than a year or two because they're alone.
Yes.
They no longer have that extended purpose. So by giving Bill purpose, watching him run up and down the stairs and walk his dog and like how much more energy, and he's been losing weight and like he's looking good, he's looking better, he's feeling better. And you know what? He actually perfected the recipe, which I knew he could do it. I really believe that right away. He's not going to be out hustling and doing everything that I do, which is fine. I get that. But he's excited in this after perfecting the recipe, and I perfected the packaging and things like that. That took us about 3 months, and then we started testing the actual product, the pancakes, on live people for the next 6 months. We tweaked and tweaked and tweaked,
Wow.
and then it was like, okay, this is the one. And now we got the recipe. This is our proprietorship. That's the one.
Wow.
That's Bill's best pancakes that are really truly healthy and taste just amazing. So instead of just flaxseed and hemp hearts, he included sunflower seeds, but insisted on grinding all the ingredients, which actually has to be done each independently. It can't be done at once.
Uh-huh.
And it's all whole food, words that you can pronounce, you know what they are. There's no fillers and this and that and whatever. It's 90% plant-based. When you eat these, they fill you up. And when you're eating them, one of the youngest test samples, I didn't know what she was saying at first. She's 5 years old, super sensitive taste buds.
Uh-huh.
She goes, spits. And I'm like, spits? Like, what? You want to let's spit it out? I'm thinking. She's like, spits. Spits. I'm like, spits. Like, what is? And then she's like, spits, like explaining. And I'm like, oh, sunflower seeds. I get it. Sunflower seeds. Okay, she tastes the sunflower.
Oh, she was able to distinguish what the sunflower
Yeah,
seed.
she noticed that. Like I noticed it's got a slight nutty flavor. There's no nuts in there. It's just seeds. But also with the seeds, you don't even need oil or butter in a pan. And
Because
you
it
don't,
comes from the natural oil.
that's exactly right. And then the other thing too, you don't need milk or egg. Unless you wanted it to go further, you could, but just water. You add water, it activates the ingredients, add a little more water to get it to the consistency, and boom, you're making pancakes just like regular, but what you're going to have is more energy, no sugar crash. There's no added salt or sugar. This is actually
nice.
It's amazing.
But you know what, Lee? You are truly a light to the other people. You are that light that brings life to other people. And I am so proud of you and I admire you. Not only that, because now you're manufacturing this Bill's pancake.
Yeah.
Serving who? The young kids?
Thank you so much. I'm glad you asked that because it truly is a community initiative where we can actually use this as a really strong tool for a fundraising campaign for youth sports, nonprofits, teams, organizations. We have actually so many different programs. We even have like scholarship and food bank programs specifically for profit-making companies to get involved. The employees save 20% on the product, and this raises a ton of either money for a scholarship to advance and get your people into like education and trades and whatnot, or it's into programs and upgrades and sustainability. But we can also take that money. The employees save all this money, but what they do is they raise pouch for pouch back to the food bank or to their favorite charity.
Wow. See
So
the babies which you have created, the baby projects, and now it's creating a ripple effect. Oh my.
So when I was doing this, I studied, okay, fundraising as an example. How many kids need to raise funds? So used to do bottle drives. Well, those are kind of going to the wayside, but they still happen. People are buying frozen foods or refrigerated foods. They're selling a high price item, average around $85, and they get to keep $15, maybe $18 if it's $100 package, and it's like, I mean, that is less than 18% they're keeping on a high priced item that not everybody can afford the fridge or freezer space, let alone the $100. Well, our pancakes, you get up to 20 pancakes out of a pouch. They're healthy, they're good, they're nutritious. I mean, 2 pancakes will fill you up. They stick to your ribs. Like it's.
Oh, so they cook the pancakes and then they sell the pancakes to.
No, it's a
by
dry
pouch or by pouches already. To sell it to their family members, to other by pouch.
Like a pouch. So this is what they sell. They sell this for $12. They get to keep $6. All the instructions, the ingredients, it's just like a real, like it's the real deal, right? So
you're giving like 50%.
Yeah. That's 2.5 times more than typical fundraising. And everybody can afford a $12 package. So these kids that are going around saying, hey, you want to support me and my team? It's $12. They're getting more yeses. They're building more confidence. They're actually experiencing more joy. So with this new success and confidence, are we not actually creating the kids and with a healthy product that does taste good? Because kids love them. Kids love these.
And because that's the only one pancake that is natural with all the seeds and everything. So that's nice.
Yeah, we do. You know what? If we didn't include buttermilk, it would be 100% plant-based. It would be vegan certified. But we include 10% of buttermilk. By the way, buttermilk is the most expensive ingredient. It's crazy how expensive it is, but it does add a lot of flavor. Like buttermilk pancakes are known to be of the most tastiest pancakes. It's just usually they're full of salt and sugar and fillers.
But probably gradually you'll come up with another ingredient, another pancake with a different ingredient. So
we're coming up with 2 more products. We're going to have the vegan, and we're going to have, check this out, a beer batter. So you can have
beer batter.
Beer batter. So if you want to fry up like fish or chicken or whatever, or veggies or fries, like you can literally use this batter. And you don't have to add a beer. Okay. That's a brand name of or a style of batter. So it's a super good batter. This is super good. And it'll be super healthy ingredients. You can either add a beer or just add some milk. You can stir that up, roll your food through there. So
I'm actually visualizing Bill's pancake with being distributed worldwide now, and with different flavors and so on, probably.
Well, I mean, we're always expanding, growing. We're actually, instead of just fundraising like the initial campaign set out to be, and make this community initiative. And you know what? Even when we're fundraising, we're still giving back to the food bank. but now we're dealing with like catering companies, and we're also talking to like restaurants, so supplying them. We're doing live events and pop-up events, and
That's
it's picking up momentum. So yeah,
it, even at
it's great that
churches.
it's great that I had the arc, and I'm so grateful that I have this. I cannot do both.
Now you can
But I tell you what, like I still take time, like even today, like I took over an hour of my time to just talk to this total stranger, see if I could help them understand, inspire, direct, whatever. I mean, that's fine. And yeah, with the odd person, I suppose there's always if they're honest and willing enough, and if they have the support, you know what? I help people all the time, total strangers or people I know. But I've been doing that probably since I was 17.
wow. That's
So
why you're blessed.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
super
thank you.
blessed. And it is because you've made a choice that, hey, I've tried to recover myself from that journey.
Yeah,
Now I will help other people recover also from
yeah,
whatever
yeah. I
pains
mean,
they've had.
we we will, by and you help people too. Cynthia, you're amazing at how you help and inspire others. And hats off to you. I would, but I probably got hat head. and and you know what? We By helping others, we get more of what we want.
Yes.
And it's just it's kind of like you know what, your paycheck can come in many forms.
Mhm. I agree.
The best investment is really always going to be within ourselves, so that we have more to give others, right? So
Exactly.
and if we have our minds aligned and we got our hearts in check, and everything else is kind of working and connecting, gee whiz, if we can take and design a pancake company that can have such a huge impact on the community, the food banks, the charities, the kids, the youth, the companies and the restaurants and the people who go there to enjoy it, well, we can look at life a little bit different in terms of how do we help impact and make it better? How do we serve others through the same initiative and still get paid? I
Yes.
mean, at the end
Yes.
of the day,
So
I
that
think,
I could see that you have already manifested up. The start of your manifestation is showing up. Don't
mm,
you think so?
well, I mean, the whole pancake initiative has been honestly about 9, 10 months
10
in
months.
yeah, from incubation to where we're at today.
Uh-huh.
I also have a lot of experience in creating other companies, developing business, prototyping. I had my first temporary patent at the age of 15.
Wow.
So and you know what? With that being said, I probably had more failures than anybody.
But those failures made you become who you are right now.
Right.
Imagine.
Those are the best lessons. Those are the best
Exactly.
educations. These are, eventually, and you fail enough times and you do run out of money. And you know what? The company is no more, because that's just life and the way world works on life's terms.
Mhm.
So you save up, you work for somebody else, you contract, you do whatever you do. Next thing you know, you've got another idea.
Yeah.
I've
And
had so many
all
ideas.
those dreams comes from ideas. And
Here's
your ideas, your parents or your family might say, "Oh, your ideas are crazy." That's why
no,
they
sure,
laugh
I
at
hear
you.
that all
But
the time. Get your head
those
out of
like
the sky.
crazy ideas
Don't
are
do
the thing
this.
that really
I've had
flourishes, that
I've
comes.
had more people tell me I'm crazy and don't do that and just do this. And well, it's like, oh, put your money in the bank. Oh, that's a good idea.
See, those are the people that drags you instead of you moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. So I know better than just putting money in the bank. And
Yes.
I know that. And besides, you know what I do? This is what my pastime is. The way my mind works is I can see something, I can create something. It could be an instant, but if it's a really good idea, or I think it is, I write it down. And
Yeah.
then I expand on it. Then I start to look into it. So now that I'm looking into it, what we do is we experience better questions,
Mhm.
right? more intelligent questions.
Mhm.
Now that I understand that even better, it brings me into different styles of manufacturing or production or packaging. Or so as I expand and explore, like I've spent so many hours over so many years in the business development center in the library, learning, studying, applying everything that I'm learning, creating this whole plan, this product around, and the production and the manufacturing around it. But I mean, having some experience in all of this, it does help. But the more you study, the more you learn, the more you write and apply, build your vocabulary, your repertoire towards the next one. So now I've got like literally dozens of companies in great detail and products that eventually I'll get to, like this. I won't say what it is. This one's at $800,000 start. This is $1.2 million start. These are $60,000. You know, all these ones. These you could probably get off the ground for about 20 grand or less. Other ones are like, you know, back into the millions, minimum 500 grand. Like, okay, so each stage, each stepping stone, I still have these. These are investments of my time, my interests, my education, self-educated, self-taught. I have gone to schools and universities and colleges, whatever, but I am self-taught and I apply what I learn.
Well, see,
so
that's the best solution.
I don't just fill my head with knowledge. That would be terrible waste of space.
And then now I could see you visualizing. Now with this one, you have your vision board now with that, with this business and then for the coming businesses.
You know, that's so I'm glad actually you said that, because here's the thing. I think a lot of people fail to do this. It's like, you know what? You're the happiest when you're in pursuit of anything. When you're achieving little bits, but you're getting there. So what happens? Okay, let's just say you're going to buy a car. Okay. You've been saving up, you're getting excited, you want to do this. Oh, it's a lot of work, but you know, the bank account, it's building. Whew, you're starting to shop, you're starting to kind of look, but you're still dreaming. Okay, save some more, building. You start shopping going, I could actually buy that. But wait, if I saved up a little bit more, you set your sights a little higher. So what's happening is, like, physiologically, mentally, emotionally, your sights are setting higher because you have greater belief in what? Yourself. Right? You have more power. This is building and building. You know how much happiness and joy is coming from this? And as you're shopping, and oh, you know what? If I just a little more discipline, I could get that one. Holy smokes. So all of this is momentum being built in time that you're experiencing so much happy joy. This is like, just even window shopping is healthy. It's healthy. Okay. It releases dopamine. You're getting shots of it all the time. And then you buy that car. Maybe you went over your sights and you overextended. Now you've got this big car payment and you're like resenting the payment in 3 months. Or maybe your payments are fine, but after a while, it's just a car and you're like, yeah, I'd like to get a better one because we all want more. But the happiness and the joy left you shortly after buying the vehicle. The biggest part of it was in the journey of actually getting to it. So what people are not doing is readjusting into what is the next thing I can look at? What is the next thing that I can do? How do I get there? What will be my next vision? What would be my next passion? What is going to wake me up and fire me up? You know?
Yes, I love that. I love that. And a lot of people, they don't create their dream by design. They usually create their dream by default because they're constricted with the circumstances and the conditions surrounding them. And then the more when we create our dream by design, we tend to be more creative and more resourceful. And that's how we push ourselves. And then, even though despite all the challenges, and now the challenges are not considered as threats or punishments, they are considered as opportunities. Opportunities for you to learn, to grow, and thrive. And that's what
Absolutely.
is important in life. Oh my, oh my. So now being an entrepreneur, how what are your current challenges now in terms of manifesting what you want to manifest?
Current challenges. You know, I recognize time
At
as
time.
as a challenge. It seems to go, it goes too quickly or it goes too slowly,
Oh my.
right? Now, when time is slowly ticking by, you can watch the second hand, and it seems to then click to the next second. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're obviously not productive because time is just going so slow. When time goes so fast, you're like in hyper joy month, like the most thrilling time. Like, where'd the hours go? I can't believe it's already like, it can't be 11 o'clock already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. The night is over. You know, it's like,
And that's the most that's the most beneficial thing, that when you're mostly productive because the time is ticking so fast, then that
so
means you're taking I mean you're doing something very productive. You're being kept busy and you are
yeah, so
that's
it's
fulfilling.
important. It's also important to purposely slow it down,
Once in a while, yes, take a break.
meditate, breathe,
Yeah.
experience how your body feels, tighten it up, and then let it relax. Each muscle group on its own, your feet, your toes, from your fingers, right down your whole back.
Oh,
You know,
is that what you do usually do?
I do that. Also,
Uh-huh.
I actually take advice from Tony Robbins. And really he's the guru of managing your state so that you do not uh, fall accustomed to your old programming.
Okay.
And like Tony, I take that cold shower every single day. I don't have a cold tub like he has set to his whatever 60 or whatever degree temperatures, cold, ice cold, right?
So you take the cold shower during winter time?
Yeah, even in the winter. So, but like, it's not like I'm in the shower for like, 7 to 15 minutes. I have, okay, instead of like turning the water on and let it getting warm, the first part of the water is cold.
Yeah.
So I get
It's like,
ready, my towel is set up. Okay. I reach in, I turn the water on, and I step in. I don't
ah,
hesitate. It's
okay.
action, training my mind to just do it. And it forces all the blood back into your organs. So it actually hyper revitalizes you.
Mhm.
Okay. By the time I've got my head, it's all soaked and it is cold. It's never like I look forward to like that cold moment. I can't stand the cold. I used to live in the Arctic Circle. I don't like cold at all.
Mhm.
But the health benefits and the vitality that comes from that after I get out of the shower, and by the way, it's really only for like 2 minutes. And even after the first minute, I'm sure it's a degree warmer. After 2 minutes, it's become a few degrees warmer. And by the third minute, it's a beautiful shower that I finish off with, and I'm happy.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's a nice advice. Nice thing to
Or
do.
what it actually like, and do some research on it. Like, don't take my word. I mean,
Yeah, but
well,
because that's what I also have my coach, and that's what he suggested as well. Go challenge yourself. Take a cold shower and then
yeah.
see, look what's going to do to you in terms of your health. It will help you really. And I agree. I agree. And now,
I was going to
what's that?
just say, so this here, okay, I wonder, you know what?
Uh-huh.
It's a limited print run. Okay. This is the prototype of the print run. It is what I've painted. If you can see right over here,
Uh-huh.
there's a little 2-inch by 1-inch square right there. That's what this is blown up.
Wow.
Okay, that is also a print. The original, which I can actually literally show you. So I think it's handy enough. It's right here. It's 4 feet by 2 feet.
Wow.
No, but
Um,
it's this little tiny square. This whole painting is called Beyond the Darkness.
uh-huh.
It was when depression was definitely in, and within 2 years from this is when I was at my worst, which is then I found the light. And after I cleaned up, changed my whole life, that little tiny square would become
That one.
this blown up.
Yeah.
And
Beautiful.
so I got limited prints. So if anybody wants to email, Lee
Yes.
Krywko, Leekrywko,
Uh-huh. Yes.
instead of $50 each, you can have
Amazing.
it for 20. And that'll take our vision to the next level. We need your support.
Yes. Yes.
And maybe you have a question for me, or you want to
Yes.
share
What
something.
what is your goal for the next 12 months?
My
On
goal
top
is
of this the, the Bill's pancake.
well, I want to be in a position where we're supporting all the sports of all the seasons, the dance schools, the martial arts, the educational schools, and I'd like to, sell my artwork actually, which is that is called Beyond the Light, the blow up.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they're certified, they're documented, they're numbered, and they're signed, and they sell for $50 each.
Wow.
But if anybody on this show wants to call in while supplies last,
Yes.
you
Take
got yours.
advantage.
Yeah, you could have yours for 20, plus the shipping, wherever
Okay.
wherever it is that you're calling from. So,
Uh-huh.
but maybe you
So
got a
this is
question for
just
me?
the print that you are
It,
sharing.
it is like from the original oil painting.
But I like the original. No, just kidding.
Well,
Just kidding.
that's a lot more than 20.
Yes.
This little tiny square is what this is. Like
Yes.
from a little 2-inch by 1-inch to 11 by 17. But
Okay.
it's called Beyond the Light.
Okay. Okay. I'll be your first customer.
I have one saved for you because you're giving me a copy of your book. Signed.
Okay, okay. So what do you think is your main roadblock or in achieving these goals?
Well, nothing. I don't really see. Well, okay. I guess I'm patient. Okay. So I can keep myself busy, active, and satisfied, just because I don't have like millions and millions and millions of dollars at my disposal does not mean I'm not a rich man. I'm already wealthy, in mind, spirit, body, you know. So I have abundance. I live in abundance. I don't live in fear. See, if you live in fear, everything is scarce. So therefore, everything's a challenge.
Yes.
So our mindset, when we shape it, condition it, and we train it, it'll actually do things that, well, other people just don't seem to get. So
I love that.
get on the journey and enjoy life. I mean, once it becomes like habitual, like a good habit. I love this one saying from Jim Rohn. Habits are good. Good habits. Sorry, how does he say it? Bad habits make poor people. Good habits make great people. So then we can self-reflect and know, we know what our good and bad habits are, because everything is habitual. We're creatures of habit. So if we're going to wake up and have that cold shower every day and revitalize and actually put the blood into the organs, I've lived a pretty hard lifestyle for a lot of my life. And a lot of people say, you don't look as nearly as old like this other guy who's actually 10 years younger. He looks way older than you. I'm like, well, thank you.
Yes.
Cynthia, you look great. Like,
thank you.
you're doing.
Is it probably it's because we are enjoying our life, and
happiness comes from within.
Yes.
And it comes out on your skin.
Yes.
I'm like a poet and didn't know it. Comes from within, shows on your skin. Yay!
Oh, that's another. Now that could be your next project. I was about to ask you your advice, but then you have already shared your advice. Unless you have another advice to our listeners.
Was there a specific question or something that I could share advice on?
I think the advice you shared, a wonderful advice, the last one, and it is from inside, and believe in yourself, and you have a lot of insights, positive insights, which you have shared, and I love it, and I'm sure that the listeners are inspired and empowered to do more, especially for those who are stuck in their dark bubble.
Sometimes just one thing, just for anybody who's ever listening, we can all have challenges or struggles. Sometimes, sometimes they're just in our head, and sometimes they're external. Sometimes it's like, you can't move this immovable object. You have to learn how to go around, go under, go over. And sometimes you can go straight on through, but I mean, each challenge has got a different tactic for wherever you are in life or located in the world. Can be a different challenge for each different person, and they're not always just the same. There's no cookie cutter answer. So this is why I recommend get a good coach. Get somebody you can talk to, somebody you can relate to, somebody that'll listen and understand where you're at, what you're dealing with, so that you can actually get the advice that you need to get on through. Because there are a lot of hurdles and challenges in life. I've gone through all of mine. Okay. And if you keep experiencing the same challenge over and over again, that's because you're not actually dealing with it. It's going to keep coming and showing up in your life every single time until you literally actually understand it and deal with it and go through it or past it. And you know what? Once it's dealt with, you don't seem to deal with the same thing. Ever. No, because you've already dealt with it. Yes. So I've just really, honestly, those who actually know my full life story. And I've had professionals like, you've lived like lifetimes and like have gone through way more than most people in most lives, 5 times, 10 times over. And, as a young man, and I had I wouldn't talk to most like psychic mediums or whatever, but like there's some really world renowned that have worked with authorities and things like that. I've actually did some work with them, and they told me that I'm a super old soul, but they also told me that I have experienced, like in their words, more than like people in 10 lifetimes have ever been through in the first half of my life. The good news is the second half does not have any roadblocks. It does not have any complications other than getting old.
Oh, excuse me. Getting old, the benefit of getting old is gaining wisdom.
Wisdom gain.
Yes.
It's time, it's time that I am, I'm not going to be subject to losing this to a poor intimate relationship choice. This will be and it's good, and it's got all the right mixes, the right reasons, and it is for the community, the food bank, the kids, the youth. like I am able to help so many people with a simple initiative. I feel super good and I'm excited about that. And
Mm.
I like, hey, I don't need to drive a Rolls Royce to have the
Mhm.
joy of helping a community. And you know what? I help enough communities. Who's to say what Bentley I buy, right? I mean, because I can only help more and more and more. But the more I help, the more I get paid. And you know what? I'm just going to expand till the day I die because I can.
The more you help,
Mhm.
the more people that you are lifting up, and
Yeah,
the more light you're spreading, they are also spreading their light. And you know what? By at the end, I would just like to see people just be kind, showing compassion, being at peace, and spreading love. That's all. That's all. So
that'd
in
be
your
awesome.
own small ways, like my vision is very simple. Spread sunshine and happiness to the people you meet. That's all. So it makes
I
a ripple effect.
I like that's a great message.
Uh-huh.
It's a
That's
great message. Yeah.
okay. So how will they be able to connect with you, Lee? For those
So
who would like to.
yeah, you know what? You could go to billsbest.ca, the website,
Mhm.
and just like it's all one word, billsbest.ca. And you'll see the email help at billsbest.ca. You can also use the phone number that's on there too.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a
Because
Facebook?
that number it will directly connect to me.
Okay. Do you have
Yeah.
any Facebook account wherein they could connect with you through Facebook?
Yeah, I just I typically stay off social media. So like I'm not on it very much.
Okay.
I try to avoid it. You know what, my time is better spent elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so proud of you and I admire you so much, Lee. And thank you
Thank you.
so much for being here with us.
Yeah.
It's really an honor to have you as our guest speaker. Oh my, I'm
I'm
sure a lot of our listeners
privileged to be here.
are.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much to the listeners and stay tuned for our next episode. Bye.
Thank